You really think about what makes life feel genuinely fulfilling.
Hmm.
It often comes back to this idea of, well, of growing, right?
Oh.
Evolving as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just things happening to you, but how you respond and learn from it all.
Exactly. And that's really what we're digging into today. We've been listening to this really insightful chat between Maya and Jordan on their show, Conversations for a Better You.
Oh, yeah, the episode on working on yourself, the best investment you'll ever make.
That's the one. And what really struck me was their core idea, this concept of becoming your own project.
Hmm. It sounds simple, but it's actually quite powerful, isn't it? The idea of consciously dedicating energy to your own inner development.
Totally. And they argue it's often, well, underestimated. It's a shift, like you said, from just letting life happen to actively shaping who you are.
Yeah, taking the reins a bit more.
Right. And so for everyone listening, especially if you like getting straight to the point, think of this deep dive as us doing the groundwork. We've gone through their conversation.
Pulled out the key bits, the main insights on self-development they shared.
Exactly. So the mission today is really to get a clearer picture of what Maya and Jordan actually mean when they say work on yourself.
Okay. So, yeah, where do we start? Because it's definitely more than like reading a self-help book or hitting the gym. Those can be part of it.
Right. They go way beyond that surface stuff.
Well, Maya really emphasizes the emotional growth side of things,
Uh,
understanding your feelings, learning how to process them healthily, gaining more. Control isn't quite the right word, maybe more awareness.
Awareness, yeah. And Jordan adds that layer of healing, you know, looking at past stuff, experiences that might still be affecting you now,
Not about getting stuck in the past, but understanding its impact, how it shaped you.
and then choosing, consciously choosing how
Hmm.
much influence it still has,
Exactly. And this connects to our thoughts too. They both talk about identifying those, negative loops or limiting beliefs we get stuck in.
and actively challenging them.
Yeah, challenging and reframing. Because as Maya points out, those thoughts, they directly impact how we react, how we treat people.
How we show up in the world, basically. It's all connected.
Very interconnected. It's not just one isolated thing.
Makes you think, doesn't it? You could have all the success on the outside, but if inside things are rocky, relationships, self-talk,
Hmm.
have you really invested?
That's a really good point. Which brings us to something they both stressed. Self-awareness as the absolute starting point.
The foundation, right.
Totally. Jordan really highlights recognizing your patterns, the good ones, your strengths, but also the less helpful ones, your weaknesses, maybe.
Without that clear look inside, any effort to change is just guessing.
Pretty much, yeah. Shooting in the dark. And Maya adds this need for real, sometimes uncomfortable honesty.
Honesty with yourself about where you are now and maybe about past choices too.
Exactly. No pretending, no glossing over the difficult bits.
And Jordan acknowledges that this honesty, well, it can sting a bit. It's not always easy to face those things.
No. Definitely not confronting procrastination, maybe a short temper, or finding it hard to be vulnerable, whatever it is for you.
But they're both saying you have to start there. That discomfort is actually the launch pad.
You can't fix what you don't acknowledge.
Right. Which leads kind of neatly into another big point, something Maya shared from her own experience, taking responsibility.
Ah, yes, this is a powerful bit. She talked about consciously shifting away from blaming circumstances or other people.
And focusing instead on what she could control, her own actions, her responses.
Exactly, her own agency. And that shift, even though she said it felt a bit overwhelming at first, is incredibly empowering.
It has to be, right? Because if everything is someone else's fault,
Mm.
you're basically powerless.
Hmm. You've given your power away. Taking ownership, even when things aren't solely down to you, puts you back in the driver's seat.
So for someone listening, the takeaway there is shifting from why me to, okay, what can I do here?
Precisely. And then Jordan brings in this dose of realism about the process itself,
Huh.
which I think is so important.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
He really stressed that growth isn't this smooth upward climb. It's messy.
Messy. How so?
Like, there will be bursts of progress, then maybe times where it feels like nothing's happening. Plateaus, even steps backwards sometimes. It's not linear at all.
Okay, that is such a relief to hear. Because you see these perfect stories online sometimes, and your own journey feels, well, bumpier.
Totally. And Maya had that great metaphor, the one about planting a tree.
Oh, I like that one. Tell us about it.
She compared self-improvement to nurturing a young tree. It needs consistent effort, watering it every day, she said.
Even when you can't see the growth happening right away.
Exactly. You don't see massive changes overnight, but that consistent care builds strength over time. It helps you see slow progress as just part of the deal. It's a long game.
Oh, long-term investment. Okay, but it's not all about pushing and doing more, is it?
Yeah.
They also talked about rest.
Yes, both of them. This was crucial. Rest, saying no, setting boundaries, they saw these as essential parts of growth, not like optional extras.
Not luxuries, but necessities.
Absolutely. Because if you just keep pushing and pushing, you burn out, you deplete your energy, and that actually stops you from growing. Sustainable growth needs rest.
Right. Maya mentioned specific things too, didn't she? Like sleep, good food.
Sleep, nutrition, but also positive self-talk, looking after your whole self, mind, body, emotions. It's all connected.
That holistic view again.
Well,
Okay, so another thing Jordan addressed was this common idea that wanting to work on yourself means you think you're somehow broken.
yes, he really wanted to clear that up. He said it's not about being broken or flawed at all.
So what is it about then?
It's about wanting to progress, to evolve, a desire to become, a better version of yourself. It's aspirational.
Not fixing a defect, but reaching for potential.
Exactly. And Maya added that lovely point about balance, being proud of how far you've come already.
While still wanting to keep growing.
Precisely. It's positive, forward-looking, not focused on what's wrong, but on what's possible.
Okay, this is all really inspiring. So for someone listening right now thinking, all right, I get it, I want to do this, where do they actually start? What are the practical first steps Maya and Jordan suggested?
They gave some really good, concrete starting points. First off, circling back to awareness, Maya suggested things like journaling.
Just writing stuff down.
Yeah, exploring your thoughts, your feelings, noticing your reactions to things, identifying those patterns we talked about earlier, basically paying more attention to your inner world.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just becoming more aware. What else?
Jordan suggested setting really small, manageable goals, like super small,
Why small?
to build momentum without feeling overwhelmed. He mentioned things like waking up just 15 minutes earlier or reading maybe just 2 pages of a book or a short walk each day.
Ah, so these tiny wins build confidence.
Exactly. Creates a positive feedback loop. Small, consistent actions.
Got it. And Maya also brought up getting support, right? Not doing it all alone.
hmm Huge point. Whether that's therapy or coaching or even just talking honestly with a trusted friend or family member.
So reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Absolutely. Knowing when an outside perspective could help and being willing to ask for it, that takes courage and self-awareness in itself.
Okay. Anything else on starting?
Yeah, one final really crucial piece of advice from Jordan. Patience. Be patient with yourself.
Because it takes time.
A long time, potentially. It's a marathon, he said, not a sprint. And understanding that progress isn't always obvious from the outside, sometimes the biggest shifts are internal in your mindset before they show up externally.
That's really insightful, like Maya's point about how sometimes growth just looks like reacting differently.
Exactly. Just pausing before snapping or handling a difficult situation with a bit more calm than you used to, those seemingly small internal shifts are where the real change happens.
Wow. Okay. And Jordan kind of wrapped it all up with that powerful idea. Make yourself your number one project.
Yeah. Prioritize you. Invest your time, your energy into understanding yourself, becoming who you want to be. It's the most important investment
Because you are your most valuable asset, right? Investing in yourself pays off everywhere.
in every single area, relationships, work, just your general sense of well-being and fulfillment.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it really does boil down to that core message, echoing Jordan. The best project you'll ever work on is you.
Couldn't say it better. And maybe add Maya's reminder too. Focus on progress over perfection.
Yes. Good one. It's about the journey, the consistent effort.
The small steps adding up over time.
Which leaves us, and everyone listening, with something to think about. How might really truly seeing yourself as a project, something deserving of your focused attention and investment, how might that actually change your daily choices, your priorities?
And maybe ask yourself, inspired by what we've talked about today, what's just one small step, one tiny action you could take, maybe even right now, to start investing in that project being you?